Hi, my name is Keri Barnum. I am the Executive Director for New Shelves Books, and I am here for Free Advice Friday, the hour every Friday where we get together at 10 a.m. Eastern to talk about book marketing, publishing, pretty much all the things having to do with being an author or publisher, and we answer your questions live. Today, we've got some questions that were emailed in, and we are also taking questions live on Zoom. If you want to join us live, you can always register at newshelves.com/FAF. We also take emailed questions in. You can email during the week to questions@freeadvicefridays.com, and we take them in and answer them as we're able on our Friday calls. All right. So Sonia's saying, I got a message from Amazon ads telling me an old ad did not meet their new guidelines. What's new with Amazon ads? Can you talk about using reader reviews as the copy for your ads? Is it allowed? Any constraints? Oh, so much is new. So per the usual for Amazon and for KDP, they're constantly making changes. They're making updates. They've been making quite a few changes to the Amazon ad dashboard. They've had some beta features that they've been introducing and some features that had been in beta that are coming more widespread now. So no, you cannot use any type of review or quote in your ad copy. You cannot use a customer review. You can't use a Kirkus review or a Publisher's Weekly review. You cannot use any reviews because that's opinion. You're allowed to use taglines. You're allowed to use a lot of things, but you can't make promises. So you can't say, buy this book and save your marriage, or if you're ready to get out of debt, buy this book and everything will be great. You can't say anything like that. Also, you cannot use reviews, and they're even careful about if you're using improper punctuation. They're like, well, you had a exclamation point and that's just a little too much excitement for us, and they will get you on that. They will also get you for trying to use all caps or inappropriate caps, and all sorts of things. So they do have rules. They always have. Some older ads that had been running continually had kind of slid under the radar, and newer ads were not being approved for those things. Even your cover image. I have a client who has a cover image that has a gun on it. It's a Civil War historical novel. It's got a gun on the cover. That was not allowed because it had a gun. I've seen definitely any romance titles that may look a little too racy get pulled. I've seen ads get pulled because they had a cigarette on the cover. So there are definitely a lot of rules going on. And before, they were just kind of keeping new ads from running. But I've noticed that Amazon has been going back and pulling old ads more recently. So do keep an eye out for that. And if they do that, there's really nothing you can do except for start a new ad, change your ad copy, and move from there. You can still use all your keywords and all of that. You just need new ad copy if that's the case, Wendy or Sonia, and that's what they were questioning. We are seeing more and more constrictions going on for ad copy for sure. Let me see. 2 questions. Is there a best day to release a book? Well, as far as best day, I think usually midweek is best day. It's practice in the industry to go for a Tuesday if possible. So Tuesdays are very popular. However, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday all work. Launching a book as in actually releasing it on a weekend doesn't usually do well, especially if you're using online or email marketing, because most people tend to go out and about on the weekend. They're not really sitting around and available for you. So it does really help to do midweek. And Tuesday, as I said, is pretty traditional. Now, keep in mind, if a Tuesday is a holiday, if it's a voting day, if it's a day that a lot of other publishers are releasing their books, it may not be the best day. Maybe a Wednesday or Thursday is. So you do have to kind of play around with it. If you are launching on a holiday or on a Remembrance Day with purpose, it absolutely makes sense. For example, I just spoke to someone who has a book that is centered around it's based on a true story, but it is fiction, and it involves the Holocaust. And so we were talking about her launching it on the International Remembrance Day of the Holocaust, which is in January. That makes sense because it's a holiday, but it's not a holiday. You know, it's not something where everyone's out doing picnics and things like that. So it ties in, it gives her a news angle, it gives a boost in all of her efforts and her marketing, but it's not competing. If you're launching a book on Christmas Day, well, good luck. That's not, I mean, you can't really do that. You're competing with the holiday. You're not working with the holiday. So strategic, definitely, and typically midweek. Is there a reason why I've mentioned before not doing pre-orders? Yes. So pre-orders is kind of one of those things that pre-orders aren't bad if you're really intentional with them. If you are not intentional, you have to be careful, and here's why. Amazon specifically, I'm not talking Barnes & Noble and other things like that. Those sites are fine. That's never really been a problem. But if you're doing a pre-order on Amazon and you're using KDP, whether it's ebook or paperback, when you put that book up on KDP and you start getting sales in, that affects your ranking right away. So if you put your book up for sale and you get a ton of pre-orders, your rank will go up immediately. It will not affect your rank when you officially launch and the book goes live. So if you're hoping for a big push when your book goes live to really hit rank and get some buzz, you'll miss that. The other thing is that if your book goes up on Amazon, if it goes up on Amazon and you're not really pushing a ton of traffic over there and you're not getting a lot of orders, then Amazon says, meh, this book's not that great and no one wants to see it. You've got a couple, the first 3 months generally is where you get the most love on the Amazon algorithms, but you have to be getting orders over that time. If you put it up and it kind of doesn't go anywhere, you tank your algorithms. And that is why I don't typically recommend a pre-order unless it's a pre-order with a purpose. If you are rapidly releasing a book series and you come out with the first book and you want the pre-order up for the second book to draw in orders and you're rapid releasing, you're pushing people to that. You're not going to tank your algorithms. It makes sense. If you are putting a pre-order up because you're really trying to shore up a ton of orders in the hopes of on launch day, getting a USA Today bestseller or New York Times bestseller, that makes sense because those orders do count for the day they release for those lists, but they don't for the Amazon algorithm. So you can actually have a ton of orders, a ton of pre-orders on launch day, release that book, and it not rank that well on Amazon, but hit something like USA Today because they are counting all of your orders over the last, I think it's 6 months, that all come together on your pre-order day, whereas Amazon is counting just that day. So pre-order is not bad as long as it's strategic pre-order. You're paying attention to what you're doing. You have a plan. I don't recommend people just throw a book up and let it sit on pre-order for months and months. Also, if it's more than 6 months, I believe that Amazon actually shuts down your pre-order and it says you just didn't deliver, which doesn't look very good. And I know that was happening to quite a few people. They actually don't let you adjust the date out, but so far. So pre-order is not bad. Pre-order with purpose is fine, but make sure that you're kind of watching that. Oh goodness, excuse me. Mike, I will email you. That's kind of up in the air right now. So Mike's asking about our library mailings, and we are kind of changing that. We're in the process. We've been working with our librarian buyers and friends and kind of seeing what meets their needs the best and how they want their information delivered. And we've been taking their feedback, and I think we may be changing up our library mailing program a little bit where we send them titles more consistently. They want more from us, less at a time, but more consistently. So I think we may start to be doing our library and our bookstore mailings in smaller batches, but really regularly, like maybe even once a week. So I'm playing with that. I'm getting the librarian feedback because we want them to open our emails. We want them to be jumping on your books and checking them out. So we're really taking their feedback to heart and adjusting our program and kind of talking to a couple of our insiders who are willing to give us feedback to really make sure that we've got a tight program. I hope to have news on that mid-November, maybe December. But Mike, you're on my list. I have saved your name in my need to contact as soon as we know file, so I'll let you know. All right, Walt, you've got a question here. I've been reviewing IBPA since last week's presentation, specifically their Ingramspark benefit. IBPA's website has verbiage that makes it sound like you have to sign up for Ingramspark after you join IBPA in order to access the benefit. That is not true. And maybe, well, I'm not saying the verbiage doesn't sound like that. I'm saying that is not true. You can already have an Ingramspark account, sign up for IBPA, and use their codes. That's not a problem. I have clients who've done it like in the last month or two. So unless they changed it last week, that's not a problem. Let's see. I already have an Ingramspark account with one book available for purchase, another set up in process. If I purchase an IBPA membership, do I have to create a new Ingramspark account? No, you don't. And you shouldn't. That doesn't make any sense. It should just go right in. Again, I've been able to use those codes in the last week or two. And I've had clients in the last month who went and signed up for IBPA and used it. So I think maybe the verbiage is confusing, but you should be able to just join IBPA, use that code and upload. And as we know, you guys, IBPA, when you sign up, one of the benefits you get is that IBPA gives you Ingramspark upload codes that work up to 5 times a year. So if you're uploading new titles, if you are editing titles, you need to change out the interior file or upload a new cover, it covers that for free. And setting up a new book is $49. So, I mean, do 2 or 3 books, you've already paid for your IBPA membership. And uploading new files, like if you need to update your cover, it's a $25 fee. So again, that stacks up really quickly. And aside from everything else IBPA offers, simply those codes are a lot of value added. All right, I'm going to hop over to our email. So Wendy just got the official announcement and invitation to KDP for hardcover, and she's asking about, is a hardcover worth it? Is it worth the trouble and the expense? Do you need a jacket? Would you use a paperback in place for hardcover, and so on and so forth? So the hardcover can be worth it depending on your genre. Anything having to do in kids, children's, middle grade, some even young adult, they're more likely to buy in hardcover because it's more sturdy. However, it's more expensive. If you are really trying to pitch to libraries like hardcover, especially for those younger ages, because it's more durable. They do take paperbacks because now they have this cool like plastic stuff that can go on the cover that makes it stronger and less likely to rip. But hardcover, of course, when you're really checking out to a lot of people, is kind of king. So if your book is something you're going to market to younger ages, if it's something that's kind of a reference book, something that people would pull off and on the shelf a lot, or if it's something that would go to libraries, hardcover is definitely worth it. As far as a jacket or no jacket, on Ingramspark, it's just the case laminate. It's like the hard glued on cover in your set. If you go to Ingramspark, you can do the case laminate where it's a hard glued on cover, or you can do both. You get a jacket. So you can do like the cloth. I'm totally going to walk away while I'm on camera to go find one for you. All right, sorry guys, I'm back. So you can do, this is a hardcover, this is from Ingramspark, and this has a jacket. So you can see that we've got our nice flaps, we've got our jacket, and then what it is on the inside, gently take it. What it is on the inside is the hardcover. This is a, I don't know if you can really see it. It is a cloth print. So they used to actually make cloth books. This is not cloth, it's just a cloth print. So it's got some graining and stuff like that. And you can see right on the title on the spine. And you can do it on either end or in the middle. We chose the middle for this one, for Blues for the Muse. And then we've got, of course, our jacket, which is kind of the dress that goes on. So that goes right on our book. And that is one option, but this is Ingramspark. If you are looking for KDP and you're doing a hardcover, you do a case laminate, which would be kind of like this part of the book, but you would actually have your cover right there, glued on there. And I think, I'm going to double check, I think I have one of those and I will show you. All right, very gently, of course. All right, so this one, American Bilingual Century, is all about language and why you should learn second languages. And this one you can see has this is the actual hardcover and it's right on the cover. And you can see on the inside, it's glued. So they create it and then they glue it down and then they put this page over top of it. And your cover goes right on there. It's got a spine, it's got a back. Obviously it has a back, but it's got a designed back. And that is what KDP is currently offering. They are offering a case laminate. So it'd be like this. You can do it matte, you can do it glossy. It's nice. It's very nice. And so this is from Ingramspark though. So there's KDP that has just this, or Ingramspark where you could do the kind of printed cloth cover with the spine and a cover, or you can do the full case laminate where it's beautiful inside, and then you also have your cover that goes on top of it with your jacket. So many options. Let me nicely put this away so I don't fix it. Yeah, I think I agree. Terry's saying she was pretty impressed with the quality of the KDP hardcover, and I agree. I think that the quality is good. They took it was in beta for a really long time, and I think the reason why is because they're really sourcing out their printing, they were working out kinks, and I think it turned out really nicely. So I think it's a very viable option if your book is kind of meant for hardcover. Keep in mind though, that if you are trying to sell your book to libraries specifically, they're more likely to order from Ingram. About a third of libraries do order from Amazon, but they're more likely to order from Ingram. So you can, just like you do your paperback, you can do hardcover on both. And I will certainly say hardcover can look more mainstream. Most big publishers are launching ebooks and hardcover together, or ebooks, hardcover, and audio, and then they bring the trade paperback in later if the book's sold enough. So having a hardcover can help elevate you and make you look more like a traditional publisher if that's your goal. As far as expense, if you keep the same trim size, it just means you're getting a different cover file done. So it's the same cover, typically same cover, it's just a different cover file. So that can incur a little bit of expense. When we're looking at what usually happens in the trade, I don't have an example of this, looking at my bookshelf. What usually happens in the trade is that you have your hardcover typically is bigger. Like most hardcovers, even in fiction, are 6x9. So they're bigger. And then your trade paperback tends to be like a 5.5 by 8.5 or a 5 by 8. So when they sit like this next to each other, I'm very visual, so I'm making you guys be visual with me. So when they sit next together, it would look something like that. So it slightly offsets. So if you're trying to follow the trade and you want two different interior trim sizes, you're paying or you're working on a new interior, which means that you're doing your formatting twice. So it's kind of up to you. You have options. There are ways to do it without a ton of expense, and then there are ways that do incur more expense. Let's see. Have you used or heard anything about Publish Drive? Thoughts? Do you know how they distribute books? Is it simply through an Ingramspark feed? Tara, I have. I've not used Publish Drive, but I work with a couple of people who do. Publish Drive essentially is a way to get your digital assets out. Sometimes it's compared to Smashwords and Draft to Digital. So when you're looking at your ebooks, do you want to use Draft to Digital? Do you want to use Publish Drive? Do you want to use Smashwords? So Smashwords is kind of, in my opinion, it was kind of the original. It was great when it came out, but it's a little clunky now. It's not super easy to use. I usually recommend Draft to Digital, but then there's Publish Drive that we don't talk about that much. And the reason why is that Publish Drive comes with some more fees that don't typically make sense for people unless they are doing a ton of books. So Publish Drive has a great model. I don't think they go directly through Ingramspark, Kara, but I could be wrong. Again, I haven't personally used it, but it's a really great operation if you have a lot of books. A lot of hybrid publishers or small press who's putting out a ton of ebooks will use Publish Drive because it's worth the expense that they put into it. But for the average mainstream self-publisher, person publishing just a few books, it doesn't typically make it out. I've only ever heard it used for ebook. I've never seen or heard it used for print. However, it could be like Draft to Digital says that they have print options. They're not widely known or widely used, but they have it, and it's kind of been in beta testing for forever. So Publish Drive could have that option. Everyone I know only uses it for ebooks. That is the only way to use it. There was a great article, I think I actually put it in the newsletter not long ago, that was comparing the three options. Let me check because I know I just saw it not long ago because I read it, but I read it quickly as I tend to do. When you read a lot, you skim a lot, which means you don't always get everything. I was not proofreading. I'm not a proofreader, but I was kind of beta reading for someone. And I was like, I'm so confused at this part. You didn't explain this. Like, yes, I did. You just skimmed over it because they know me. And I think it's hilarious. All right. So Dave Chesson over at Kindlepreneur did do a article that compares Publish Drive and I'm going to get them all. Publish Drive, Smashwords, and Draft to Digital. And I just dropped that link in there. And for anyone who's watching the replay or who cannot see our chat, you can go visit our newsletter. Our newsletter is just paper.li/newshelvesbooks. And you can sign up for it on our website so that you can get it direct to your inbox. We email out. I try for every Tuesday, and it's mostly, industry articles, what's happening in the industry, what's new, what's trending, what do I need to know? So instead of having to dive into 15 different newsletters like I do, you can hopefully have the one newsletter that really puts a lot of the things you need to read all together and make it quicker for you. Hopefully it's a time saver. All right. To take advantage of my 5 free days per month of advertising on Amazon, how would you spread out those 5 days during the month? Pat, I think you are probably talking about if your book's on Kindle Unlimited, you have 5 free days where you can make your book free for up to 5 days, but it's every 90 days. So every 90 days or 3 months, you can set your book to free, your ebook to free on Amazon up to 5 different times. There are different strategies around it. If you are going to use those 5 free days, you can do it all at once. You can kind of set it from a Thursday to a Sunday, do a big free deal, drive a lot of traffic, use some newsletters. Or you could strategically do it. If you are trying to reach a specific audience and you want to offer them a free ebook, you can say, hey, I'm going to set my ebook for free on October 31st. So you can go download it then and just not really advertise it and just tell the people you want to have it. For example, if you're trying to get reviewers or something like that. So you can do that. That is an option. It just depends on your strategy. Are you using this as a lead magnet to get people onto a series? Are you trying to get reviews? And then I'd strategically do it from there. And no, even though you have 5 free days every 90 days as an option, you don't need to use them. And if you give your book away free too often, you will start to lose the value of the book. When we give things away for free too often, they're not appreciated enough. Now, I will say that it can certainly give you a boost. I'm going to share my screen to show you 2 ways I recently have used free days. All right, you guys should be seeing a Amazon screen over here. And over here, I'm going to search Oceans Have No Memory. So this is a book, obviously, that I was talking to Jonathan, and he was having a really hard time getting reviews. This book was on Kindle Unlimited. He was just having a hard time getting reviews. He didn't have a very a circle that was willing or able to go and do reviews. And I said, well, you're not going to make money on it, but if the point is reviews, if the point is to just get your name out there, would you be willing to give your book away for free and put a couple $100 into newsletters? And he said, yes. So what we did is we went and we set his book up for free. We put it up, we coordinated it so that there'd be a Facebook ad that drove people saying free book on Kindle, and drove traffic there. We also drove traffic through our free Booksy and the Fussy Library and a couple of newsletters. And what happened is he used to have I believe it was 2 reviews, only 2 reviews on this book. And this was only maybe a month ago. So what we did is we gave it away for free. But what I really want you to notice is not only that he now has 27 ratings and reviews. So that has jumped drastically. And if we look, I wonder if there's a couple written reviews you'll see. But a lot of them are ratings, which is just fine. Ratings show up as stars, so who cares? So that certainly matters. But what I want you to notice even more is that after we did this, we got that high, we got more reviews. Look at his ranking. He has been able to, once getting the traffic, once getting the reviews and the interest, he has been able to keep this high, this ranking high, all for over a month now. And so because we got it seen, it's now being read. And because it's kind of a ghost story, it's a little spooky, it's a little paranormal, it's doing really well throughout the month of October. And I hope to see that continue. So we use those free days strategically to drive traffic, to drive interest, and to get reviews. Again, he didn't make money on the giveaways, but he wasn't reaching those readers anyway. So now he's reaching these reviewers and he's now making sales. You can tell by the ranking that he's getting some pretty regular sales or page reads in order to stay this high. So I would call that a success. And then another one, let's see, this one may still be running. Maggie Duff by Susan Breen. She has a series. She's got book 1 and book 2 out, and book 3 is coming out November 9th. So what we did, and it is right now, you guys go grab Maggie Duff. If you like I can't even talk. If you like cozy mystery, go grab Maggie Duff because it's free right now. And what we did here is we set it to free because we wanted to make sure that we're reaching a wide audience because the 3rd book is about to come out. And Sue's book in particular, this book came out, it was with a larger publisher that it was with a large publisher that closed that branch of their publishing arm. So she got her rights back. So the 1st and 2nd book had been out already. Unfortunately, because it was ebooks, we didn't get to keep all of her hundreds and hundreds of reviews. And so we had to kind of start from scratch and we put it up there. And so book 1 and book 2 have already been out. Her market has already read them. And so now we're just pushing for awareness to get them back up there because book 3 is brand new. And so we know that one's definitely going to be read by a lot more people because book 1 and book 2 have kind of already been out. But I digress. We did a free day yesterday and today. The only thing that we did was to put Sue's book on the Fussy Librarian. That was the only thing. And for a free option, I think it runs anywhere between $25 and like $100, depending on your genre. The only thing we did, we put it out there, and you can see that she's 33 free in all the Kindle stores. She is made #1 in Amateur Sleuth Mysteries, Cozy Culinary Mysteries, and in Mystery Series for free. So this is huge. She's obviously getting a lot of downloads. I think at my last check, she had already gotten over 3,000 downloads of this book, which is amazing. That is so many new people diving in, getting interested, and that is the value here. And so we've got that going on. And now, mind you, in the back of Sue's books, because we're super smart, we also have a giveaway. So at the back of Maggie Dove, as soon as you finish it, there is a short story that makes its way between book 1 and book 2. People can go over to download to BookFunnel. They can download it. When they download that copy of the short story of Maggie Dove, what happens is they get added to Sue's mailing list. She now has an option to go ahead and contact them when the third book comes out or the second book is ready. So we have done that in the back of book 1 and book 2. There's a short story for email collection. So not only are we getting awareness, we're getting new readers who then hopefully will sign up for her mailing list, which she can then go email with the launch of book 3, which is part of our strategy. Also, when you have a series and you put up book 1 and it's free, you typically get a nice book boost for book 2. So book 2, we can see, is ranking in the top 100,000 of the paid Kindle store. So we've got a nice boost here, and we expect to kind of see that lift, and hopefully it will translate into book 3 as she launches that on November the 9th, because we're expecting people to take a couple days to read it. And then as we go through, she'll have book 3 coming out very soon. So there we go. Maggie Dove and the Lost Brides. We do have the paperback on pre-order, but not the ebook at the moment. So again, the purpose here, drive traffic, get people onto the mailing list. Getting more reviews is always good, and getting the read through for the excitement of the new book. So the giveaways should be strategic. We shouldn't just be giving away our book for no reason. We want to be strategic with it. And if you have a purpose in mind, make sure that you're honing that in, that you're gearing everything towards that. Tara, I think you'll probably like it. It's a good mystery. Let's see. And did he ask for reviews? Well, it's in the back of the book. Hey, reviews mean a lot to authors. Please consider leaving a review. Also keep in mind that when you are reading a book on the Kindle app, and this was a Kindle giveaway, when you're reading a book on the Kindle app and you get to the end, it automatically pops up and says, rate this book, leave a review. So a lot of people do just naturally leave reviews. Also, again, the email collection is super smart as a way to get in. Let's see. If you wanted to do a sale on a recent book release, how many months would you wait after the release date to offer a sale? If you have just launched a brand new book and you've asked all your friends, your family, and your fans to go pay for it, I would be waiting a minimum of 3 months before you do a discount, especially if it's free. A minimum of 3 months so that they can feel loved. And also, I would say that if you're doing a discount ebook deal, maybe do a push out to like newsletters, but don't announce it on your personal social media and things like that. Maybe just put it out in the newsletters kind of quietly to build your new audience, but not rub it in the faces of your audience you already had that supported you with that book launch and that release. So again, it's all about strategy. There are a lot of good options. It's all about the strategy of how we use them. All right. And Randy, going back to pre-orders, the purpose of pre-order was to do a free giveaway at Goodreads in anticipation of my release. Also, what difference does it make whether you rank in pre-order phase versus release phase? Isn't any ranking a good ranking? Finally, I set up a 10-day pre-order. Sounds like that shouldn't be too terrible for Amazon algorithms. I think a 10-day pre-order, again, if you've got a strategy behind it, is fine. As far as the ranking, and doesn't matter if you're in pre-order or order, no, ranking high is ranking high, and that's good. However, we know it's psychology, it is studied that people are more likely to buy a book they immediately get than a pre-order. So what may happen is you push people for pre-order and some people will pre-order it. So you get a kind of boost in the rankings. And then some people will be like, well, I'm just going to wait till it comes out and order it when it can go right in my Nook, or I can, get it immediately. So then they wait to order it, and then you get kind of another sprinkling of orders. So what you're doing is, rather than pushing everyone to order on launch day and pushing everyone to order at the same time, so your ranking goes as high as it can, you may be splitting your forces. Again, if it's strategic and you've got a reason, or maybe you quietly put it up on pre-order and you kind of use that for Goodreads, but you're not announcing it to your personal fan base. It really, again, it depends on your goals, but most people are not going to pre-order it. They are going to wait until it goes live. So if you are trying to hit rank, if you're trying to hit algorithms on your launch day, I wouldn't announce it unless you're doing a huge pre-order campaign. And I'm actually working with a couple of anthologies right now where they are really trying to hit a list. And so there are a group of them. One is 8 authors, the other's 10, I think, that are really pushing that pre-order. They've got an ebook that's got a lot of content in it. It is inexpensive. And they've been really heavily pushing that pre-order, and they've been ranking amazingly. I mean, top 6,000 of all Kindle books for a while. And we just started our ads. So again, pre-order with purpose or strategy. Just be careful about that. Last question. Randy, we don't believe you. Last question. When releasing the 3rd book in a series, which books do I want in Kindle Unlimited, and which books do I want to make available in draft to digital? If you are launching a series, I recommend that you either do all Kindle Unlimited or all wide. I don't recommend that you split a series, because your reader will come to like you because you're on Kindle Unlimited, or because you have wide options, and then you're kind of betraying their trust if you split it in the middle. Randy, you're a little bit different because you have poetry books, which can kind of stand on their own, but especially for fiction, if you've got a series of books, if you've got a mystery series and you've got book 1 in Kindle Unlimited, and then you don't have book 2 and book 3 in Kindle Unlimited, and you're asking people to go buy it elsewhere, you can kind of make them angry. So I don't recommend typically splitting a series if you have options, especially if you're taking it off Kindle Unlimited. Because when you're taking it off Kindle Unlimited, as you get the series, people who follow you who have Kindle Unlimited subscriptions and who have read that way most often feel betrayed. They feel like they have been money gouged, and that doesn't make fans. Now, if you've got everything on Kindle Unlimited and you build it up for a while, and then you take everything off of Kindle Unlimited and go wide, that's a totally different option, because then you're kind of shifting everything. It doesn't feel like bait and switch. Jane, my agent thinks my new novel is a good candidate for a Christian publisher. I was surprised, and I'm not sure I feel good about that, but Christian publishing seems really big. What do you think? Here is the thing. With any niche, Christian publishing, I mean, there are a lot of different niches. The thing with that niche is that there are people who will only buy or read books that are from a Christian publisher. Christian bookstores are known for this. If you do not have a Christian publisher, they do not stock your book. They trust the Christian publisher to vet the books to make sure it's okay for their shelves, because they're not reading all of them. So Christian bookstores religious stores, things like that, will only order from those bookstores in many cases, or those publishers in many cases. It has to be marked as a Christian publisher. Online, it doesn't matter as much. Online, you can market, you don't even have to go with a Christian publisher to market something to a Christian audience. However, keep in mind that when you're focusing on that niche, you've got a really warm hotspot, but you can kind of repel many other readers. There are many readers who would pick up a mystery or a thriller that kind of has religion or has Christianity in it, but if it's marketed as a Christian book, it's not their thing and they may walk away. And obviously, that's a big market. There's a huge market of people looking for just Christian books, but there's an even bigger market of people who are looking for something that's not in that pigeonhole. But like, I'm doing the weight, I need like the scale. But when we're looking at it, if you've got a really hot, warm market who's willing to buy your book, that can take off. I don't know if you guys remember the like Dan Peretti series was very popular, and that was all about demons on earth and things like that. It was very Christian focused, and those books skyrocketed because it went to the Christian market, but it was so popular it spilled over. And also another one is the Left Behind series. The Left Behind series is, I mean, it's literally reenacting Revelation. It is the end times. It is so Christian focused. And those books also blew up and were huge because they targeted a specific market and they found it, and everyone was buying them. And so many people in that market were buying, it spilled over. Dan Peretti or Frank Peretti? You know, Tara, that's a great question. It might be Frank. It might be Dan. Maybe his name is Daniel Frank. I've just renamed him. It's okay. I've also done that with Lisa Frank. Lisa Frank, who does the, you know, like all the stickers and stuff. She has been Linda. She has been many things in my house. I'm sorry, Frank. So it's Frank Peretti. Sorry about that. It's like a Jan Karen series and Episcopal. I'm going to butcher this word. Yes, it's a priest. I mean, I think that there is a market for it. I think that we have said often, if you want to hit your target, you have to have a bullseye. When you're thinking, I might miss out on people, keep in mind, if you take an arrow and say, aim for the trees, you're going to go into the trees, but are you going to hit anything? Whereas if you take an arrow and you say, hey, hit the middle of that tree where that red dot is, you're more likely to actually hit it. Going with a Christian publisher and going after a specific market is like aiming for that red dot, and it could turn out really well for you. Yes, I know what it is. I'm just tongue-tied today. I just can't talk today. Let's see. I love this. I feel overwhelmed. Do you schedule consults for one-on-one pep talks? I do. If we've never chatted before, if you go to newshelves.com, right on the front page is a button that says let's chat. If you are kind of wanting some direction, you're wanting some ideas, I do offer 15-minute calls so that we can kind of talk. Maybe there are ways that New Shelves can help. Maybe there are just some free resources. I was lovingly yelled at a little bit by someone I was talking to the other day, because I was like, you don't need me. Here's your free resource. Please go do it. But there are times, you guys, where you just need the tools. And if we have the tools available and they're free, we want to give them to you. So Jane needs life direction. Well, Jane, we're going to need a glass of wine for that, but we can make it happen. But I do think that there are free options. There are some things that I always say you can do it. You can do almost anything, but do you have the time to learn it? Do you have the time to do it? Do you have the resources? It's all the things. And so it's really that 15-minute call can be so helpful to really solidify your goals, to see what you can do on your own, what you're willing to do on your own, and what you're going, here's my white flag. I just want help. And so we work with everyone along that spectrum. So newshelves.com, there is a big yellow button that says let's talk. So go grab that and we get you scheduled on my calendar for a 15-minute chat. Let me see. All right. Well, you guys, I think that's all of our questions we've had today. If you have any last minute questions, let me know. Yes, if you want to hit your target, you have to have a bullseye or else you don't hit anything. I don't know if any of you have ever done any type of archery or shooting or really anything, but if you just tell someone, go shoot, it's a little crazy. Let's not go there. We should have a free advice Friday happy hour. Actually, it's Halloween this weekend. We could all dress up and that would be amusing for me. Yes, I love it. Actually, a funny story I will leave you with, since I don't think we have questions, although you can totally drop questions in the chat. A funny story for you is a couple of years ago, it was Halloween and my son, who was, I think he was 5 at the time, he was dressing up as a pirate for school and I was going in to volunteer at the end of the day. And he begged me, he wanted me to match him and be a pirate with him. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I had to go into work first when we were in the New Shelves offices. And so I had to go into work first. And I was like, well, it's just Amy. We had other people in, but it was like our normal staff and stuff. So I was like, it's just Amy. I'll dress up as a pirate. I'll go in and then I'll leave to volunteer for my son's school. I get there and I walk across Amy's office and there's someone sitting in there and Amy goes, Keri, do you remember that we have an interview today? No, because actually Amy had forgot to tell me. We had someone interviewing. So I had to interview a prospective employee in full pirate costume. I did take my eye patch off, but I had full pirate costume, tons of makeup, and it was hilarious and awesome. And we did end up actually hiring her, and she was a wonderful employee. So I think that's hilarious. Let's have a costume party where everyone shows up in costume, not just me. So maybe I'll put that in our Facebook chat and we'll see what we can work out. Yeah, it was pretty, it's funny now. At the time, I was just like, hi, my name's Captain Keri. It was funny. All right, thank you, Caroline. I've been working with Keri this year. Highly recommend her. She's so knowledgeable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love working with you. That's right. That's right. There's so many puns that could be available with a pirate and an interview. Arg. Would Fussy Librarian and Free Booksy be good for picture books? Yes. So Pat, when you're doing a free picture book, just know usually those costs are less expensive. So they're not very expensive. I think it's like $10, maybe $15 to get on those lists, but their lists are smaller. There are not as many people signing up for ebooks that are picture books, but there are people out there. You just will have less movement and less, it'll cost less, but you'll probably get less downloads. So instead of like those 3,000 downloads that Sue got, you're probably looking at maybe 20, 25. But it's also less expensive. So go give it a try for sure. I think that they both have lists for that. So I think it's an option. All right, you guys. Well, we're out of questions. I'm out of embarrassing stories that I'm willing to share. So I think we're good for today. Like I said, maybe we'll do a costume chat. Let me check my calendar. I think we should. What's today? Friday. All right. I'll check my calendar.